It is Monday, June 10th, 2019. It is 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and so you know what time it is. It's time for a little bit of coin metal. And it was a very early get your ass kicked at Jiu-Jitsu Monday. I did not go for the double down. I did not go in the evening as well. But what I did do was probably, I don't know if it would be as constructive, but it was certainly a good workout. I recently picked up a nice little jiu-jitsu mat, little 6x12 jiu-jitsu mat, and it was free, so you know it's cool when that kind of thing plays out. Anyway, so I was rolling around on it today after burning a nice brisk half mile on the old treadmill. But yeah, like I said, very early Jiu-Jitsu Monday. We covered some interesting stuff though. The gentleman that I've been working out with in the morning, he's been doing this one thing and really kind of trying to concentrate on it. And so we were doing multiple entries into if in the event that you were to get kind of a standing side control on your opponent, where you've got your hand like around their opposite waist and you've got their wrist really hard up against your chest, and like you're pressing into the elbow in such a way that it's really kind of uncomfortable. I mean, it's almost to an armbar, but it's not the right pressure for it. Nonetheless, I mean, it's kind of a good position to be in. And anyway, we were working on different foot positions for it, and also different hand grips, you know, or not necessarily different hand grips, but the right hand grip for this particular movement, and establishing exactly what it was and really working on it. And so, that's one thing I think I might be employing a little bit more of. We started with a really interesting one where it's I guess it's the same side lapel. So like if you're reaching with your right hand and you grab your opponent's left lapel, so it's like same side lapel. From there, like a double hand grip on the gripping hand, and then shifting to the side to bring that arm right in front. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about the way that I chose to finish it, but we were going for like different things of, you know, if they have the left leg forward, you know, the toe pick on there, you know, or if they have their right foot forward, you know, the ankle grab there. And so the toe pick, and it's not really a toe pick, but you know. Anyway, I went about it just a little bit different, and I think it's because of my tendency to want to go with momentum. You know, I feel like a lot of these movements in jiu-jitsu that I've been learning, like every once in a while I'll feel like what I feel like is the perfect way for the particular movement or whatever to happen. And usually it's like it feels like there's like just something lost in translation between Portuguese and English in the description of how to do it, or where the pressure should be, or whatever, or just somebody leaves it out in the description or instruction when they're teaching it. But it feels like there's certain things that you really need momentum behind to feel the proper way that they're done, you know. So like bringing somebody into your guard or something like that. That's something that you fine tune after a little while. But it can be instructed. Different entryways can be instructed to you. But like, sometimes I think like the technique, you know, 200 years ago or whenever it was initially developed, you know, that there were certain aspects that were clipped off due to the fact it was gi jiu-jitsu, or, you know, that didn't translate well to the different arena. You know, it might have been something from like shoot boxing or wrestling or judo or some shit like that. And it, for whatever reason, the mechanics of it weren't 100% worked out. And this is one where I feel like it's in that kind of realm. Because like there's the opportunity for your opponent to kind of sneak their chest to where they're facing you, and that's one of the things that we were really working today, how to counter that. And the first time that we were working through it, one of the other gentlemen that we were working with asked me, he's like, so how do you think you would break that? You know, like if you were in this position and you were having this happen to you, how would you regain control of it? And I did a really kind of simplistic move, and like it didn't really lock in till later on when I had an opportunity to actually apply it, where the pressure should be, and like how I should be holding the arm in particular stages of the movement to really maximize the pressure on like the shoulder and the elbow. And like I said, it didn't like 100% click until I had the opportunity, reach over, grab, pull in, and all of a sudden with the movement of our two bodies on it, it suddenly made sense. It's like, yeah, when I pull it this far, I'm going to really open up that hip. It's going to give me the opportunity to go for the back or maybe for the leg grab, something to that effect, that I could be transitioning it all into one movement instead of just getting to the other side and getting back into the same position, waiting for him to turn face toward me again, But that, and again, we were working a lot of ways to address the takedown from there. And I was going for one variation on it was kind of like a valley drop, but not really, because I was kicking the foot out. But nonetheless, it seemed to work really well for me. Like I did it more than once, kind of naturally, just going with the movement of it. And really, that's what I try to do. Like I was telling some guy in the gym the other day that my mantra when I'm really in a tough position is just, where's the pressure? Where's the pressure? Where does he have to hold pressure on to keep me in this position? Where does he have to put pressure on me to get to his next position? What the fuck is he going for? Is he going to, take my back? Is he going to go for a collar choke, a zipper choke? Is he going to Ezekiel me? What the hell? And after I've established, it's like, okay, he's got to have this foot hooked around me in order for him to get the right pressure to be able to pull me in the Kimura. And so rather than, freaking out on the arm or whatever and just waiting for him to pull you slower and slower into it, I address the foot because that's where the pressure is. Once you disengage the foot, all of a sudden he doesn't have the right pressure to hold you in while he pulls in the Kimura, and it doesn't work anymore. And so you kind of roll into the rest of him. You go into the absence of the pressure as well, because the second part of the mantra is, first part is where is the pressure? Second part is where is the pressure not? It's good to know where the pressure is, but where are the places you can go to get away from the pressure, or to alleviate the pressure, or neutralize the pressure, or use the pressure as a weapon? What are your options? Where is the pressure not? Yeah. And so anyway, I got a lot of opportunity to play around with that this morning, as well as explore some failure. It's one of the reasons why I really enjoy the early morning class, is that the person that I happen to be rolling with is very experienced and very knowledgeable. And so, he's already been through and done the thing like 3 million times. He hasn't quite gotten to that, like, that sage, like, illumination with it, where he's back to being patient with it. He's still thinking about, like, last year when he was still pulling the same stupid thing that I'm doing right now, and he's impatient with being reminded of it. But nonetheless, he regardless of his lack of patience or like tension on it, I can just smell the tension. It's not that he's getting impatient with me, but it's like I can see it in his eyebrow. It's like, yeah, you've probably been doing that for previous 6 months was like when you finally got rid of doing that, right? And so you're like watching me relive your old bad habit, And so anyway, but he is very patient. It's like I'll see the tension, but he lets go of it, and he'll walk me through. No, you want to do it like. And so like I said, he hasn't quite gotten to the sage height of disengagement where it's like, hold on. Instead of going about it that way. And honestly, I'm okay with that, because I think I'm kind of too slow at it to begin with. So, that kind of expectation and pressure on me, I think it's perfect for my particular type of learning. But, and we get in a lot of reps, and we get in a lot of variations. And like I said, I think out of everything that I've been doing to try and increase my capabilities on the mat, I think doing that 6 a.m. class has probably been doing me the most good. You know, I mean, it's kind of a challenge to my normal lackadaisical level of discipline. You know, I mean, I've been tightening it up since jiu-jitsu, but, you know, jiu-jitsu kind of gives me a reason to tighten it up. Because, like, when I do tighten it up, you know, with diet or anything like that, I perform better on the mat. You know, I'm getting the submissions, you know, they're feeling clear and fluid in my mind, you know. And I can see them one, maybe two, possibly even three moves in advance. So, I mean, I feel like that's helping a little bit, you know. And so, like I said, it's giving me a reason to try and push myself to excel a little bit more. 6 a.m. class, dude, the first battle is just getting out of bed. And last night was really, really tough because I don't know why I couldn't fucking sleep. I think I finally managed to crash out at like 3:30 in the morning. I got back up at 5, and of course the alarm didn't wake me up for like 20 minutes. That thing was just going off. And I mean, I'm glad I don't live with anybody else, because they surely would have like killed me to get me to turn the fucking alarm off. But anyway, yeah, so the first battle, getting out of bed, I managed to do that, and it's like I was halfway to the gym by then. And so, yeah, like I said, it's a good thing to get in. But speaking of getting things in, I did get a new album in. And I've been dying to play these guys because, well, I haven't had this album for a very, very long time. Finally got it back in CD, and so here it is. First Dance, Jerry Was Race Car Driver by Primus, here on Coin Metal. And that was Tool with Vicarious. And so, as far as what else we're going to get into today, oh man, you know, I'm usually pretty busy on Twitter and whatnot, and a lot of it is talking to people about cryptocurrency, and more times than not, it's arguing with people about cryptocurrency, which, yeah, you know, it's not exactly the most productive use of my time. But I do believe that I do benefit from it. At the very least, it gives me opportunities to question my own biases about the stuff. Because, you know, I still don't think that there are any quote-unquote experts as far as cryptocurrencies are concerned. I think people just do what they're doing, and some of it works, and some of it doesn't work, and some of it works how they intended it to, and some of it doesn't. And, you know, a lot of it is, you know, stuff that you don't necessarily want per se, but certain other people want. And so, you know, these things take a time to flesh out if they have an opportunity to take hold. As, I don't know, I kind of think it sometimes that Bitcoin has picked up a bug or two. And ultimately, I think that some of the ill effects of the way we've treated Bitcoin so far have been that we've pushed too many people out of mining. And so that's taken the eye off of what you're supposed to be doing in order to get the incentive, the block reward. And that's starting to have really interesting expressions in the market at large. And one of the ones that we keep seeing come up is cryptojacking. Now, however or why ever this shit started, I heard about it as early as, I want to say 2015 with shadow mining. But it showed up with ASIC miners. You know, that ASICs pushed too many people off the Bitcoin network. It made it completely unprofitable to mine with a CPU or a GPU, and so on and so forth. Everybody had to go altcoins or try and steal other people's hashes. And so I want to say it was either 2015 or 2016 when I first heard about basically mining with other people's hardware. And I'm sure there were instances of it before then, but it didn't seem to get any really big traction until then. You know, where people were talking about deploying it on gaming networks and shit like that. So, you know, you didn't even know it, but your CPUs and your GPUs and whatever you got in your hardware is getting, some of your resources are getting dedicated to somebody else's mining effort, and that it be deployed throughout a gaming platform such as Steam or something to that effect. And so, like I said, that was like the beginning of it, but it's morphed into a couple different iterations. Like, some people have tried to harness it and utilize it as a means of generating capital, such as the Pirate Bay, or I think HBO.com tried to do it for a really short period of time, and it didn't really work out for them. People were really pissed because their systems were suffering such a loss of resources available to them that their computers are basically unusable. I had it happen to me a couple times, and I was just like, dude, okay, which one of these tabs has a fucking crypto miner running in the background? And of course they've got it now to where it'll like inject into your fucking computer via various different software packages. And yeah, it's like the next thing for scammers, I guess. Ransomware was a big deal for a while, but I think this is going to be a bigger one, and it's going to continue to affect us until mining a cryptocurrency is profitable for enough people. So even straight up mining Monero or Dash or Litecoin or Verge or any of the thousands of altcoins that are out there, that if there were enough interest driven to one, and the incentives actually worked out to where enough people that were participating in it were making enough money that it didn't really matter. It was profitable enough to play by the rules, to not worry about trying to abuse other people's hardware in order to make money. And I think that day is going to come. I really do. I think between fiat inflation across the globe and other economic pressures, that will be the drive of it later on. But anyway, I got this article here on the hackernews.com because it seems to me anyway, I've been seeing more and more mentions of it, but it seems like there's more cryptojacking going on, or like there's another, I don't know, arm of it breaking out or something like that. I don't know. Let's get into this thing though. New brute force botnet targeting over 1.5 million RDP servers worldwide. This is authored on June 7th, 2019 by Swati Khandelwal. Let's check and verify something. I'm going to suggest yes. No, editor, blah, blah, blah. He. So yes. Penis. Continuing on. Security researchers have discovered an ongoing sophisticated botnet campaign that is currently brute forcing more than 1.5 million publicly accessible Windows RDP servers on the internet. Dubbed Gold Brute, the botnet scheme has been designed in a way to escalate gradually by adding every new cracked system to its network, forcing them to further find new available RDP servers and then brute force them as well. To fly under the radar of security tools and malware analysts, attackers behind this campaign command each infected machine to target millions of servers with a unique set of username and password combinations so that a targeted server receives brute force attempts from different IP addresses. The campaign, discovered by Renato Marino at Morphus Labs, works as shown in the illustrated image, and its modus operandi has been explained in the following steps. Let's see here. RDP host. Number 1, brute force attack and gold brute deployment. Number 2, AES encrypted connection to C2 via WebSocket port 8333. Let's see. 3, scan for open bootable RDP servers. 4 bootable RDP IP addresses, at least 80 to start brute force phase. Let's see, 5 addresses to brute host user password format. 6 RDP brute force attack, 1 shot per target host. And 7 bootable RDP tool, valid RDP addresses and credentials goes to your attacker. And you get 1.5 million unique IP addresses. Lovely. So step 1, after successfully brute forcing an RDP server, the attacker installs a Java-based Gold Brute botnet malware on the machine. Number 2, to control infected machines, attackers utilize a fixed centralized command and control server that exchanges commands and data over an AES encrypted WebSocket connection. Step 3 and 4, each infected machine then receives its first task to scan and report back a list of at least 80 publicly accessible new RDP servers that can be brute forced. Step 5 and 6, attackers then assign each infected machine with a unique set of username and password combinations as its second task, forcing them to attempt it against the list of RDP targets the infected system continually receives from the CNC server. Step 7. On successful attempts, the infected machines report back login credentials to the command and control server. At this moment, it is unclear exactly how many RDP servers have already been compromised and participating in the brute force attacks against other RDP servers on the internet. At the time of this writing, a quick Shodan search shows that around 2.4 million Windows RDP servers can be accessed on the internet, and probably more than half of them are receiving brute force attempts. Remote Desktop Protocol, RDP, made headlines recently for 2 new security vulnerabilities. One was patched by Microsoft, and the other still remains unpatched. Dubbed Bluekeep, the patched vulnerability CVE 2019-0708 is a wormable flaw that could allow remote attackers to take control of RDP servers, and if successfully exploited, could cause havoc around the world, potentially much worse than WannaCry and NotPetya-like worm attacks did in 2017. The unpatched vulnerability resides in Windows that could allow client-side attackers to bypass the lock screen on remote desktop sessions. Have something to say about the article? Comment in the list below. Let's see if anybody did comment. And no comments. But yeah, that gives us a new thing to worry about, I guess. Oh man, that's really sad. You know that these brute force attacks are happening, and especially because the patch that was out for RDP that was out a long time ago, and so they keep coming up with these new fucking vulnerabilities that they keep coming across, and half the time I think they're designed into Windows software to begin with. You know that you see these calls from congressmen and intelligence agencies that they want backdoors to everything, and they want remote access to everything, and they want to access your camera, and they want to access your microphone, and after a while, it starts to seem to me, it's seemed to me at least, that these exploits being found, they're answers to these calls for backdoors. And they're just people that are unintended to finding it. You know, I mean, I have a hard time believing that Microsoft, as big and as powerful as they are, cannot means test their shit, cannot security test their shit, to the extent where they would be finding these exploits within their own systems. Now, no system is perfect, and we all know that, but nonetheless, they just have troves and troves and troves of exploits that, they get found maybe a year, maybe two down the line. But again, I gotta wonder if these aren't intentional backdoors that really intent attackers have discovered in their rooting around of your system software. But anyway, I got this other thing here, and this one's on Cointelegraph, and I want to check and verify when it was authored 5 hours ago. And this is by Marie Hewlett, and let's check and verify if it's an actual full article or just a snippet from somebody else's shit. Alright, let's go with it. And this is by Marie Hewlett, and it was authored approximately 5 hours ago. Trend Micro: cyber criminals use obfuscation trick to install crypto mining malware. Crypto security firm Trend Micro has confirmed that attackers have been exploiting a vulnerability in the Oracle WebLogic server to install Monero mining malware while using certificate files as an obfuscation attack. The news was revealed in a Trend Micro blog post published on June 10th, so we're going to go directly to that. Thank you, Marie Hewlett, for directing us to it. Well, let's see if we can find the full report. Yeah, this looks like it, maybe. Let's see if I can find which one is the whole thing. Yeah, let's go for it. This is on Trend Micro. CVE 2019-27-25 exploited and certificate files used for obfuscation to deliver Monero miner. This is on June 10th, 2019 at 12:15 a.m. And author was Trend Micro by Mark Vincente, Johnnery, Triunfante, and Brian Gellera. So, 3 penises. In April 2019, a security advisory was released for CBE 2019-27-25, a deserialization vulnerability involving the widely used Oracle WebLogic server. Soon after the advisory was published, reports emerged on the SANS ISC InfoSec forums that the vulnerability was already being actively exploited to install cryptocurrency miners. We managed to confirm these reports after feedback from the Trend Micro Smart Protection Network security architecture revealed a similar cryptocurrency mining activity involving the vulnerability, but with an interesting twist. The malware hides its malicious codes in certificate files as an obfuscation tactic. Infection chain goes, malware exploits CVE 2019-27-25 to execute a PowerShell command. Certificate file cert.sir is downloaded from the command and control server. Certutil is used to decode the .sir file, which is then saved as update.ps1. PS1 update.ps1 file is then executed and the certificate file is deleted. PowerShell script in memory is downloaded and executed. The script downloads and executes the cryptocurrency miner payload and other components. Installation routine. After arriving on the target machine, the malware will exploit CVE 2019-27-25 to execute the following command, and I'm not going to read the whole command. The purpose of the command is to perform a series of routines. First, PowerShell is used to download a certificate file from the command and control server and save it under app data or %app data % using the file name cert.sir detected by Trend Micro as coinminer.win32.malxmr.tiaoodcj.component. It then exploits the component certutil, which is used to manage certificates on Windows, to decode the file. The decoded file is then saved as appdata/update.ps1. The newly created update.ps1 trojan.ps1.malxmr.mpa file is then executed using ps before the downloaded cert.cir file is deleted using command. We then downloaded the certificate file. We noticed that it looked like a normal privacy-enhanced mail PEM format certificate. Damn. Figure 2. The downloaded certificate file. However, upon decoding the base64 content, we found that instead of the commonly used x.509 TLS file format, it actually comes in the form of the following PS command: ix new object.net.webclient.download string, and then it gives us a nice little URL there. Update PS1. One interesting characteristic of the download certificate file is that it requires that it be decoded twice before the PS command is revealed, which is unusual since the command from the exploit only uses certutil once. There's also the possibility that the certificate file we downloaded is different from the file that was actually intended to be downloaded by the remote command, perhaps because it is continuously being updated by the threat actors. The cryptocurrency miner payload. The PS command from the certificate file downloads and executes another PS script in memory. The script will then download and execute the following files: sysupdate.exe, coinfig.json, networkservice.exe, update.ps1, sysguard.exe, and clean.bat. And sysupdate.exe is the XMR miner payload. Config.json is the config file for the XMR miner. Networkservice.exe, possibly used for propagation and exploitation of WebLogic. Update PS1 is the PS script in memory. Sysguard.exe serves as the watchdog for the miner process. Clean.bat deletes other components. The update.ps1 file containing the decoded certificate file is then replaced with the new update.ps1. This is followed by the creation of a scheduled task that will execute the new update.ps1 every 30 minutes. Certificate files as an obfuscation technique. The idea of using certificate files to hide malware is not a new one. A proof of concept was introduced late last year by Sophos, in which they demonstrate placing an Excel file with an embedded macro inside a certificate file. If any actual incidents have been found, they are probably few. By using certificate files for obfuscation purposes, a piece of malware can possibly evade detection since the downloaded file is in a certificate file format, which is seen as normal, especially when establishing HTTPS connections. However, oddly enough, upon execution of the PS command from the decoded certificate file, other malicious files are downloaded without being hidden via the certificate file format mentioned earlier. This might indicate that the obfuscation method is currently being tested for its effectiveness with its expansion to other malware variants pegged at a later date. In other words, they're testing. Oracle has already released an update that addresses CVE-2019-2725. Thus, it is highly recommended for organizations that use WebLogic Server to update their software to the latest version to prevent any attacks that exploit the vulnerability from affecting their businesses. Trend Micro Solutions. Trend Micro endpoint solutions such as Trend Micro Smart Protection Suites and Worry-Free Business Security can protect users and businesses from these threats by detecting malicious files and blocking all related malicious URLs. Enterprises can also monitor all ports and network protocols for advanced threats and be protected from target attacks. And I guess this is a commercial for their shit. I'm not going to read it all out. But yeah, so apparently they're getting deeper with the mining. I mean, we're talking about exploiting several different things that are pretty universal. I mean, Oracle, it's pretty much all over the place. Although not everybody's using WebLogic Server, it's probably in pretty wide distribution though. So I would imagine that using it as a testing platform for other possible exploits or discovery of additional exploits that particular attack might work for, it's kind of predicting that they're going to be getting attacked more and more in the future, and that the attackers are just adapting based on what they're finding out from this current attack for how to set up their next ones. Anyway, let's go ahead and throw back down into some music, and I'm wanting some Slipknot. And so, the Heretic Anthem, because we just don't play it enough here on Coin Metal. And that was Skindred with That's My Jam. Anywho, as far as what else we're going to get into today, I've had this thing that I've been thinking about covering, but I found something else instead, because like we've been covering all this business about exploits and all that, and it seemed like a lot of the ones that I was finding were actually something that I needed to translate. I don't know if we're actually going to get into that one. It's looking a bit weird there. But nonetheless, I did want to go back to this one by Marie Hewlett, because it gives us a little bit of additional information that didn't seem to be in the previous one. Anyway, this is authored June 6, 2019. Trend Micro detects major uptick in new strain of XMR malware targeting China-based systems. And so no penis. Cybersecurity firm Trend Micro has detected a major uptick in Monero cryptojacking malware targeting China-based systems this spring. The news was revealed in an official Trend Micro announcement on June 5th. As previously reported, cryptojacking is an industry term for stealth crypto mining attacks that work by installing malware that uses a computer's processing power to mine for cryptocurrencies without the owner's consent or knowledge. The XMR-focused malware, which wields malicious PowerShell scripts for illicit mining activities on Microsoft-based systems, reportedly surged against Chinese targets in mid-May. Hitting a peak on May 22nd, the wave of cryptojacking attacks has since ostensibly steadied, according to Trend Micro. China accounted for 92% of the firm's detections of the new strain. In an analysis of the attacks, the cybersecurity firm identified that this latest campaign resembles a previous wave of activities that use an obfuscated PowerShell script dubbed PCastle to deliver XMR mining malware. The earlier campaign, by contrast, targeted a host of different countries, notably Japan, Australia, Taiwan, Vietnam, Hong Kong, and India. Trend Micro's report describes in detail how the malware's infection chain functions and notes that while the campaign is focused on one geographic area, it seems to be indiscriminate in terms of industry. Trend Micro also notes that alongside their cross-industry target field, the attackers, quote, use of XMRIG as their payload's miner module is not surprising. Algorithms for Monero mining are not as resource intensive compared to other miners and don't require a lot of processing power. This means they can illicitly mine the cryptocurrency without alerting users unless they notice certain red flags like performance issues. In its conclusion, Trend Micro notes that even while motivations behind the attackers' focus on China remain unclear, the campaign demonstrates that fileless malware techniques represent a persistent threat, one of the most prevalent in the current landscape according to the firm. As reported earlier this month, Trend Micro also detected a malware dubbed Black Squid that infects web servers by employing 8 different security exploits and installs XMRIG Monero Central Processing Unit based mining software. There we go. It seems that cryptojacking is just not going to go away. Yeah, sad. Very, very sad. But, you know, it's funny that we're talking about that stuff with people fantasizing about stability on the internet with regard to finance. And I was going to go into that, but I got this other thing, and this one's kind of a heartbreaker because we've actually been covering CCN for a long time, and apparently they're closing up shop. And then this one I think is it's pretty big because of the implications involved. So let's get into this. CCN shuts down after major Google search update. This is by John Biggs, author June 10th, 2019 at 1546 UTC. So yes, penis. Cryptocurrency news site CCN is shutting down after experiencing a 71% fall in mobile traffic due to a recent update to Google Search's rankings. Founder Jonas Borchgrevink posted the news on his site saying, quote, CCN was founded in the summer of 2013 as CryptoCoins News. We have been around for 6 years. Were the crypto-related news site with the highest amount of traffic worldwide, although CoinDesk and Cointelegraph have been friendly competitors with us the past 6 years for the #1 Alexa spot. The site began to see its life as a cryptocurrency-focused news source, and as evidenced by internal charts by Borchgrevink, enjoyed high traffic and solid organic search activity. This all came crashing down after what Google called its June 2019 core update, an update that Google claimed was, quote, designed to improve our results. Quote, most have little noticeable change, but help us continue to incrementally improve search, wrote Google's search liaison on October 11th, 2018. The update apparently also dinged sites like Daily Mail, leading Borchgrevink and others to speculate that CCN's conservative posts led to the reduction in search activity. Borchgrevink wrote, quote, while CCN is unbiased as a news site, meaning no political agenda from the editorial board, we have allowed all sorts of opinions from journalists and guest writers, from the far left to the far right. Many of our political op-eds have been, quote, pro-Trump. Remember, we are mainly a crypto-centered news site. Cryptocurrencies started with Bitcoin in 2009 as a counteraction against the financial meltdown and the cartel-like power possessed by banks and the Fed, which is privately owned. Bitcoin is, or at least was, supposed to be decentralized. We are true to the crypto community with our slogan, we are anti-elite, we are anti-centralization. So there you have it. Google basically just seems like putting up a wall and closing them off. Whatever. I want to get into the CCN article proper here. CCN is shutting down after Google's June 2019 core update. Maybe they'll give us a little better information. Jonas Borchgrevink, 6/10/2019. Our dear readers, let's get straight to it. Google's June 2019 core update rolled out on June 3rd, 2019, and CCN's traffic from Google searches dropped by more than 71% on mobile overnight. As data seen from SEO analyzer Systrix shows, our visibility on Google dropped from 1.2 to less than 0.6. You might say we ought not to face any issues since we've been at least at those levels and lower in the past. What you need to realize is that we have added more people to the team, both full-timers and part-timers. We don't want to downsize the team. We don't want to break the morale of the team. So yes, this change by Google is directly having a significant impact on us as a small independent news organization that has never received any outside funding. The money we make on advertisements was directly funneled back into the growing team. Our daily revenue is down by more than 90%. We have tried to find out why our stories are no longer visible on Google by asking guidance on Google's Webmasters Forum. While we appreciate the help of the experts from the Google Forum, their theories for why Google has decided to basically, quote, shut down CCN does not appear to be entirely accurate. Why would simple fixes be the cause of immense Google list drop when other similar sites are experiencing the same blowback? The leader in blockchain news, CoinDesk, has experienced a 34.6% drop according to Systrix.com. Cointelegraph has experienced a drop of 21.1% on mobile. Fellow crypto publication U.Today's admin wrote this: "We have exactly the same problem as described with our crypto news website, U.Today. AMP traffic is on zero level. Popular search queries are filled with updated top stories from dinosaurs like Bloomberg, FX Street, or CoinDesk. All comparable sites, our competitors, have the same issues. We've researched a lot." Is this a crypto crackdown by Google? The answer is both yes and no. While all major crypto-focused sites have taken a hit by Google's June 2019 core update, other sites that are not affiliated with cryptocurrencies have experienced a startlingly similar effect, or impact, rather. What appears to be an employee of Daily Mail, Jesus Mendez, posted this on Google Webmasters Forum. We've seen a 50% drop in search traffic based post broad core algorithm update. The day after the broad core algorithm update, June 3rd, we saw a massive drop in search traffic from Google, lost 50% of daily traffic. This was a drop over the course of 24 hours, and we have not made any changes to the site. Further, we saw our Discover traffic drop by more than 90% and has not improved. This is across all verticals, devices, AMP and non-AMP. My site is dailymail.co.uk. What's bizarre is that we have a much more pronounced decline in the UK versus the US. This is weird because the UK is our home region and historical drops have always been much more prominent in the US. Further, on June 2nd, we saw a blip for a few hours when our Google bot traffic almost disappeared before returning again. Could possibly be related? On the same day, traffic from Google Media Partners shot up for a short while before returning to normal. Daily Mails asked for help from the Google Webmasters community. The responses Mendez received ranged from the website layout, the advertisements they show, to having, quote, clickbait titles. Barry Schwartz from Search Engine Land writes, speculation and theory. There is a lot of speculation floating around this drop in Google's visibility for Daily Mail's website. People are speculating it has to do with the ads, the site speed, the content, the political slant, and so forth. Some are even speculating that someone posted using Jesus Mendez's name in an effort to make the SEO director of the Daily Mail look bad, along with his publication. Mail Online confirmed that Jesus Mendez did indeed write this post in the Google forums. While it is a great day for Daily Mail and us to receive help, the help is not really all that helpful. Google has confirmed even they do not fully understand how Google's rank brain works. Unless anyone who actually worked on the June 2019 core update at Google explains what is going on, all we can do is, quote, guess, speculate, and experiment as far as our bank accounts allow us to. Your money, your life. There's been speculation that YMYL, your money, your life, has been a factor for CCN in the recent Google update. Nikolaj Antonov, a silver product expert from Google Webmasters Forum, wrote to us, quote, your website is the news website with articles focusing on financial markets. Perhaps Google can be ranked the website as your money or your life, and the content and trustworthiness of the website is defined by recommendations, expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness, EAT. CCN was founded in the summer of 2019 as Crypto Coins News. We've been around for 6 years. We're the crypto-related news site with the highest amount of traffic worldwide. Although CoinDesk and Cointelegraph have been friendly competitors with the past 6 years for the #1 Alexa spot. We have been cited by many leading news publications, both in America, Europe, and Asia. We've grown organically with zero funding, from a one-man show in 2013 to a 60-plus team in 2019. The more traffic we generate, the more ad revenue we bring in, the more people we can employ, the better CCN gets. At least that was our strategy. We have always shown our business information on CCN and provided Crypto Coins News and previously CryptoCoinsNews.com. We have always been transparent with everything we do on CCN. We were awarded as, quote, the best crypto media by Blockchain Life Asia 2019 conference. Our journalists and editors have signed and abide by the code of ethics of the Norwegian press. We rectify stories that contain inaccuracies, and we openly admit to mistakes with public apologies if our team has made an editorial error, like we did with Apollo and John McAfee. We have exposed multiple cryptocurrency-related scams and given concerned readers a platform to voice their opinions. CCN was among the few crypto news sites that refused to run a sponsored story in the guise of a regular article, as an investigation by BreakMag.com reported. Without dwelling wholly on the negative, we should also note that companies that gave a clear refusal to run any content that was sponsored without a clear label, Bravecoin, CoinJournal, Cryptos Rus, CCN, Mineable, Oracle Times, NullTX, and Zycrypto. The only thing that we seem to lack is our own Wikipedia page with details about us and our business. However, as Steve Pasquera wrote on Daily Mail's forum post, quote, Rush Limbaugh mentioned this on his radio show last week. It seems like Google wants to target conservative-leaning news outlets because they are so afraid of another Trump victory. And they're going to get that anyway. While CCN is unbiased as a news site, meaning no political agenda from the editorial board, we have allowed all sorts of opinions from journalists and guest writers. From the far left to the far right, many of our political op-eds have been, quote, pro-Trump. Remember, we are mainly a crypto-centered news site. Cryptocurrency started with Bitcoin in 2009 as a counteraction against the financial meltdown and cartel-like power possessed by banks and the Fed, which is privately owned. Bitcoin is, or at least was, supposed to be decentralized. We are true to the crypto community with our slogan, we are anti-elite, we are anti-centralization. While I won't speculate whether or not this might have affected our site, I would certainly hope Google isn't actively suppressing journalism. Satoshi Nakamoto, creator of Bitcoin, quote, "The root problem with conventional currency is that all the trust that's required to make it work. The central bank must be trusted not to debase the currency, but the history of fiat currencies is full of breaches of trust. Banks must be trusted to hold our money and transfer it electronically, but they lend it out in waves of credit bubbles with barely a fraction in reserve. It is to be expected that cryptocurrencies would draw attention from the more right-leaning population due to the decentralized nature. Notwithstanding, I will never allow myself nor my team to censor or hype any op-eds or opinionated pieces. People must have the right to have their own thoughts and worldview. People must have the right to be able to share that point of view. If not, then we are not doing our job to protect the freedom of speech. Not all sites are losers. When sites lose Google traffic, other sites gain Google traffic. That's the nature of the game. Barry Schwartz from Search Engine Land continues. Early data on this Google update shows that there were many sites that lost traffic and many that gained. In fact, the Mirror, the Sun, the Metro, and other UK online publications all gained according to Systrix's UK data. But when one site gains, it is possible for others to lose. Systrix showed the Daily Mail losing 43% of visibility in search. Yeah, Google's fucking playing favorites, man. That's what it smells like to me. As the Systrix data shows, mirror.co.uk seems to be the major winner from Google's June 2019 core update. Yeah, they were up 57.83%, visibility up 89.17%, but they're actually not the highest for that. Then the highest for that is the Sun. Aren't they like a fucking a tabloid or some shit like that? Oh, man. Let's see here. That seems a bit strange and could be an odd coincidence. People also ask, is the Mirror left or right wing? In news that will surprise very few, Daily Mail is seen as Britain's most right-wing newspaper. At the other end of the spectrum, The Guardian is seen as Britain's most left-wing newspaper, closely followed by The Mirror on May 16, 2017. Let's see here. Our call to action. While we do understand that Google needs to update their search algorithm from time to time, we cannot comprehend why they are allowed to enforce such drastic changes and have such dramatic consequences for so many news sites over the course of a very limited time, 24 hours, without any explanation or warnings to media organizations such as ours. While they did announce the update, they did not disclose any information of what the core update would do. I'm personally calling media organizations across the world to fight this hideous practice by Google that basically can, with a snap of its fingers, decide who will thrive and who will die within a matter of minutes. Google controls the world's news consumption. They claim to be pro-journalism. They have a news initiative that states, building a stronger future for journalism. The Google News Initiative is our effort to work with the news industry to help journalism thrive in the digital age. While in fact they are creating an environment where journalists, editors, and news organizations don't know if they'll be around after the next Google Core update. If Google thinks that CCN all of a sudden, remember literally overnight, is bad, then why not give us the chance to understand why and give us a way to change before any major update? Instead, we are kicked in the teeth overnight with zero knowledge of what we have done wrong, impacting a team of 60 plus people. 6 years of work is evaporated. Our employees are being impacted. Sambaraj Jas, our chief editor for the past 4 years, located in Bangalore, India. Josiah Wilmoth, who is our U.S. editor, just moved into a new home this year in Virginia with his family of 4 due to the security of his job. Dude, and this is all immaterial, man. I mean, it's very bad that they'll be impacted, but I think the bigger importance is why they are being impacted. And continuing on here, calling journalists, editors, directors, and news organizations. While CCN might be irrelevant to you, the practice by Google also affects you and your organization. This core update might have been positive for you, but what about the next Google Core update? And the next? Are you all going to sit idle and let the dictator in the room decide your destiny without having a chance to understand the updates and make necessary changes to survive? Or even worse, are you going to allow Googlemocracy? According to the ethical code we follow on CCN, number 1, the role of press in society. 1.1, freedom of speech, freedom of information, and freedom of the press are basic elements of a democracy. A free, independent press is among the most important institutions in a democratic society. 1.2. The press has important functions in that it carries information, debates, and critical comments on current affairs. The press is particularly responsible for allowing different views to be expressed. 1.3. The press shall protect freedom of speech, the freedom of the press, and the principle of access to official documents. I cannot yield to any pressure from anybody who might want to prevent open debates, the free flow of information, and free access to sources. Agreements concerning exclusive event reporting shall not preclude independent news reporting. 1.4. It is the right of the press to carry information on what goes on in society and to uncover and disclose matters which ought to be subjected to criticism. It is a press obligation to shed critical light on how media themselves exercise their role. 1.5. It is the task of the press to protect individuals and groups against injustices or neglect committed by public authorities and institutions, private enterprises, or others. Our demands for Google. Number 1. Give a 3 months notice to all webmasters, let alone news organizations, of any major core update and elaborate what it might affect. Actually, I would think that'd be kind of like required disclosure. Number 2. If a news organization is considered to be in the risk zone for losing more than 20% of their search traffic, explain why and what it can do to change to stay afloat. Number 3. Involve all national governments where you are leading search engine and allow them to create apolitical task forces to examine your search changes for the conservation of our democracies, our freedom of speech, our freedom of the press, and our freedom of information. While Google demands that news organizations must be trustworthy and transparent to be featured in searches on Google News, Google is allowed to dictate how we all shall behave through secret updates and algorithms by being untrustworthy and non-transparent. Who is in charge of the Google 2019 Core Update? What is his or her phone number? An email address? A business address? The same is required of news organizations to be included in Google News and must be shown publicly. It is a paradox never witnessed before in the history of the press. Diversity is at risk. Freedom of the press is at risk. Freedom of speech is at risk. And freedom of information is at risk. And what you can do, share our message, share our demands addressed to Google, write down your own opinions or editorials about the massive elephant in the room, rally against the draconian power Google has, influence politicians, make them understand how dangerous Google has become in your country. Create an anti-Google solution for sites that experience severe Google backlash. Sign the petition against Google's monopoly and call on Congress of the United States of America to act. No. That's the one thing I won't do, is ask for my government to regulate Google in any way, shape, or form. It's not their business. You bitch to Google. You say, Google, you're being a fucking bunch of assholes. We're going to avoid using your services if you keep this shit up. And we're going to tell our friends to do the same. You know, I agree that they're probably being put upon by Google. And that, yes, Google's political bent is probably having some part to play in it. However, the call for recourse involving government, I don't believe is the answer. And I've said this in the defense of other parties that I really don't like. But the fact of the matter is it starts with them. You know, so in this case, Google is being set up as the boogeyman that we need to regulate, right? Well, if we do that to Google, the regulatory regimes and frameworks that result from it are not just going to impact Google. And that eventually other entities in this space and others within the computing realm would probably see the kind of demands placed on Google that we're probably seeing right here. Anyway, let's go ahead and throw back down into some music. And I got some Ministry going. It's sounding really tasty. But I don't know if we're going to go there quite yet. Let's go with a little bit of Doyle here. Abominator. Here on Coin Metal. And that was Within the Ruins with Elite. And so, next little bit here I got here, I found by doing just a little bit of digging, and this is on the NPM blog about NPM things. Plot to steal cryptocurrency foiled by the NPM security team. And this is actually on Tumblr, I guess it is. Anyway, continuing. Yesterday, the NPM Inc. security team, in collaboration with Komodo, helped protect over $13 million in cryptocurrency assets as we found and responded to a malware threat targeting the users of a cryptocurrency wallet called Agama. The attack focused on getting a malicious package into the build chain for Agama, and stealing the wallet seeds and other login passphrases used within the application. The details. The attack was carried out by using a pattern that is becoming more and more popular, publishing a, quote, useful package, Electron Native Notify, to NPM, waiting until it was in use by the target, and then updating it to include a malicious payload. The GitHub user Solly published this commit on March 8th, which added Electron-Native-Notify version 1.1.5 as a dependency to the EasyDex-GUI application, which is used as part of the Agama wallet. The next version of the Electron-Native-Notify was published 15 days later and was the first version to include a malicious payload. Following that, Agama version v0.3.5 was released on April 13th. After being notified by our internal security tooling of this threat, we responded by notifying and coordinating with Komodo to protect their users, as well as remove the malware from an NPM. Here is a brief demonstration using Agama Wallet, and yeah, we're not going to do that. After launching the wallet application on the left, you see a request to, quote, update Hero UApp. Hero QApp on the right, which downloads the second stage payload. Once we enter in our wallet seed, you will see another request to that remote server successfully stealing our wallet seed. What to do now? Komodo platform has released the following statement, and we're going to click on that, which provides some guidance as to what to do if you were a user of the Agama wallet. Users of NPM will be automatically notified via NPM audit if they encounter this malicious dependency in their projects. NPM Inc. continues to grow its 24/7 security team to invest in security infrastructure and to bring new levels of protection to its users. And this was June 5th, 2019. So yeah, interesting. Apparently they're still attacking wallets these days. And let's get into this one on Komodo. Update regarding vulnerability recently discovered in Komodo's Agama wallet. And this is June 7th, 2019 by Daniel. So yes, penis. June 4th, approximately 5 p.m. UTC, the Komodo team received a private notification from NPM, Node Packet Manager, a popular tool to include external Node.js libraries into any project, about a vulnerability in one of the upstream libraries Komodo's Agama wallet was using. The Komodo team would like to thank the NPM security team for handling the situation so quickly and professionally. If you had funds stored in Komodo's Agama wallet and those funds were moved without your knowledge or permission, please complete this form to your earliest convenience. Please note you will need to fill a separate form for each asset. This is essential that all Agama users who had their funds moved fill out the form. An overview of the vulnerability. Komodo's version of the Agama wallet was using a Node.js module that contained malicious code. The infected module was collecting user seed phrases and storing them on a publicly accessible server. Read this post on the NPM blog, which we just did, for more details about the malicious code and how it was inserted. Please note that only Komodo's version of the Agama wallet was affected. Viruscoin, a project within the Komodo ecosystem that maintains a distinct version of Agama, was not affected by this vulnerability. The Virus Agama wallet is completely secure and one of the recommended wallets in which to store your KMD. Viruscoin supports a number of ecosystem coins, including KMD, VRSC, and ARRR, as well as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other major digital assets. It now seems clear that the bug was created intentionally to target Komodo's version of the Agama wallet. A hacker spent several months making useful contributions to the Agama repository on GitHub before inserting the bug. Eventually, the hacker added malicious code to an update of a module that Komodo's Agama was already using. The update contained malicious code that stored all seed phrases on a public server. The hacker saved the seed phrases on a public server to obscure his/her identity and to create a scenario where anyone could be a suspect when the vulnerability was finally exploited. Understanding the vulnerability. The KMD blockchain was not affected in any way. There is no vulnerability with the KMD blockchain or any other blockchain launched with Komodo's technology. There's absolutely no need for a rollback or a hard fork. It's crucial to understand that this was not a 51% attack or any other kind of attack on the KMD chain. Rather, it was a security vulnerability in an external module that the code base of Agama Wallet was dependent on. The Komodo team was made aware of the vulnerability and took immediate action to protect user funds and eliminate the threat. In addition, only Komodo's version of Agama was affected. The Virus Agama wallet is completely secure and one of the recommended wallets in blah blah blah. KMD's response to the vulnerability. Once the Komodo team learned that users' seed phrases were being exported from Komodo's Agama and cataloged, the decision was made to exploit the bug before a bad actor could do it. After the review, it seems the attacker had started emptying wallets before the Komodo dev team jumped into action. At the time, the Komodo dev team did not know that the attacker was already stealing funds and made the decision to secure vulnerable funds independently. Now, it is clear that the Komodo team was in a race against the attacker to move all the funds in compromised wallets. Using the seed phrases stored on the publicly accessible server, the Komodo dev team opened the compromised wallets and moved the funds to a secured wallet. It is important to note that the Komodo dev team does not have access to anyone's private keys, seed phrases, or funds, including Agama wallet users. The only way that the Komodo dev team was able to move users' funds in this case was by accessing the trove of seed phrases that the attacker's malicious module had saved. Approximately 8 million KMD and 96 Bitcoin are now in a secure wallet, being safeguarded by the Komodo dev team. All funds will be returned to users once they generate a new secure wallet, complete the missing funds claim form, and send a small transaction from the old wallet. How to reclaim your swept funds. If you had your funds stored in an Agama wallet that someone else sent to a different address, the first step is to complete the missing funds claim form. The reclaim process will begin with wallets that had less than 7,777 KMD in them and are undisputed, meaning that only one missing funds claim was made for that wallet. Oh shit, dude. Then you just gave yourself an out. If you meet these conditions, then please read the support guide to learn more about this reclaim process. The process will be simple and blockchain based. First, a very small fraction of a KMD coin was sent to all addresses from which the funds were swept. This step is already complete. Second, the rightful owner of that address must access their compromised wallet and send that small amount of KMD to the same destination address specified in the missing funds claim form. This verifies that the same individual who completes the form is the rightful owner of the funds they are reclaiming. Finally, Komodo team will return all funds moved in the security sweep. If the Komodo dev team aims to process all of these undisputed funds of less than 7,777 KMD by June 15th, please be patient during this time. For all of our other wallets, those with more than 7,777 KMD, and those for which multiple missing funds claims were completed, more details will follow soon. The Komodo team aims to have all of these funds returned by June 30th. The extent of the losses. In total, the hacker managed to gain control of approximately 1 million KMD. This is less than 1% of the circulating supply of KMD and roughly 0.5% of the total supply. The total supply of KMD is approximately 200 million and will be reached around the year 2030. The Komodo dev team is still conducting an analysis of the attack, and the support team is still gathering information from users about funds that were either swept to a secure address or stolen by the attacker. So detailed plans have not yet been made. However, it is important to note that the Komodo team will be doing everything possible to make sure everyone gets all of their funds back. Komodo's lead developer, James Jit Lee, has pledged to donate 500,000 KMD from his personal holdings to compensate users who lost their funds in this attack. More details will be released in the coming days. Keeping the Komodo ecosystem secure. In place of Agama Wallet, we are releasing a new wallet, Atomic Dex, a hybrid product that is both a multi-coin wallet and a decentralized exchange. Atomic Dex relies on newer, more advanced, and more secure technologies. Excuse me one moment here, I'm going to make one minor adjustment here. Sorry about that. Little adjustment. One important aspect of Atomic Dex's features is that it only utilizes dependencies that are reviewed by security experts. The new software environment and architecture of Atomic Dex will make security vulnerabilities less likely. The Komodo team always makes security the highest priority. Our security team is constantly monitoring our networks and blockchain activities to ensure the safety of our users. Yeah. And so, moving forward, if you had any funds stored in an Agama wallet and those funds were moved without your knowledge or permission, please complete this form at your earliest convenience. It is essential that all Agama users who had their funds moved fill out the form. In the coming days, more updates about this vulnerability and the reclaim process will be published. The Komodo team believes firmly in transparency and will continue to keep the community fully informed. In particular, the Komodo team will announce details about the reclaim process for swept wallets that held over 7,777 KMD, disputed wallets, and wallets whose funds were stolen. Thanks again for your continued support. Yeah, so apparently they got hacked by somebody from the inside. And it should be noted that, again, there was a common vector that I've talked about multiple times on this show, that being GitHub. I mean, if you've got another way to store your materials or another place to store your materials, please do it. You know, if you have a more secure way to store your shit, please do it. I mean, this is not to cast any dispersions on Microsoft or GitHub, but I'll be honest, this is becoming a commonality in too many of these attacks as far as the source and how they're deployed for us to be taking lightly. I mean, I've been hearing about GitHub enabled attacks for at least, I want to say about 2 years now, and I'm sure a few of them existed before then too. But when these kind of things happen and you examine their response here, it's just as likely that somebody thought it was a brainchild idea to get some funding for Komodo by ganking their customers' funds. And then everybody else caught wind of it and said, "Oh my God, no, don't do that." You know, it's just as likely that happened, or, you know, that they had a developer that was under the impression that he was being paid for his services, and they said, you know, "No, we're not going to give you anything." And he says, "Fine, I'm just going to steal all your fucking money because now I know how to do it." Or, it could have been one of those deep fakes where the guy was just a really competent guy as far as programming goes. And he said, I don't want to make money honestly. I just want to steal money from people. And so I'm going to ingratiate myself in this Komodo project. I'm going to give them all kinds of useful code for, a couple months at least. And as soon as they trust me enough to not be reviewing my code or auditing my code, I'll put in my pull request for my malicious code and be off with my money. When you think about it from those terms, it starts becoming obvious that while being a moderately likely scenario is, I don't know, it's too thin. Especially when you've got similar attacks or similar attacks where the GitHub itself is being used as an attack surface, not just for deployment, but for the harvesting of data concerning the development teams themselves. And we were talking last week about social engineering and how there was a spat of development team members who were having their stuff ganked through, I guess it was T-Mobile, their social engineering through their T-Mobile accounts and also through their AT&T accounts. I'll tell you what, that the lackadaisicalness with regard to the security in that section of like cybersecurity and all that shit, it's so, I don't know, we don't pay enough attention to it. I will admit that a few organizations have been getting more sophisticated in the type of security protocols they use, which will lower the instances of social engineering. Nonetheless, people are people. And you get somebody on the other end of the phone who's greedy or they're not very intelligent, and they just get coerced into giving up all kinds of information, and you're fucked. I've said a couple times now that I really think that we need to revisit things like cell phone contracts and how much information we're actually requesting of people. Because the fact of the matter is that phone companies ask way too much information from us, and they track way too much information about us. And as far as I can tell, it's a security issue that's going to remain a security issue until they really start beefing up customer service. For one thing, have your customer service people focused on one thing: customer service. Don't be trying to use it as an opportunity to sell them more shit. If they express interest in more shit, you say, oh, well, I got this available. If the customer at that point expresses interest in being sold some additional shit, you have them forwarded at the end of the service call, but you address the service. You don't have the person concerned with trying to get in a fucking sales pitch, because their greed will get the best of them, and a competent social engineer will utilize that as a means of getting what they fucking want out of them. And it happens over and over again. And the fact of the matter is, they do not pay those people enough money. They really don't. They need to be paying those those customer service agents, because they are a form of the security web here. They have access to all your information, and I'm not going to be specific about what, but let's just say all of it. And so, you've got to disincentivize the fucking over of your customers by, incentivizing the proper utilization of company resources and customer information. And you're not going to get that if, they're getting all fucking jealous about, Jimmy in the next aisle who's getting all the fucking sales and all that shit, and for whatever reason they don't have a decent pitch, they weren't taught enough about the products that they're being told to sell, whatever, they can't move as many products as that guy, and so they're jealous, man. They want that money too. They want the girl in the next row to like them too. And got to be able to take her out. She wants you to have some money in your pocket. And of course, it's really unlikely working in the same place that you do. But the point being that, it provides an incentive, an additional incentive to misappropriate customer funds. And like I said, you want to diminish those as much as possible. The only way you can do that is by incentivizing them counterwise, So maybe make them even more responsible, So it's like, hey man, you're going to sign this that if you fuck up, you're going to be partially liable, or, you're going to have to pay to this fund that will pay off the people in the event that you fuck up. At the end of the month, if you go without any instances of fuck ups, that you'll get paid it back. Something. You have to add either more carrot or more stick or more of both to rectify this issue, because that is the biggest security hole in all of this is customer service. And again, for legal reasons, I can't indicate why, but I mean, all of these articles tell you. I mean, I've read it a million times to you guys out of other people's articles, so it's not like it's a big fucking secret. But I mean, we've known since fucking what's his face? Ghost in the Wire's Kevin Mitnick. We've known the level of insecurity that customer service agents and secretaries and intermediaries can be in the hands of a competent social engineer. So there really isn't any excuse for this shit to be happening. It's not like AT&T or T-Mobile or any of these other guys just recently took up the job of providing cell phone service. They've been doing it for decades now. It's not, like I said, it's one of those things that makes me think that shit is intentional. That if you're say a government employee or whatever, and you're trying to do an investigation, and you use the social engineering tools available to you, and you get access to a citizen's information without the need for going through and getting a warrant. And that's why I think that the stuff is this easy to hack, because you like when I call my bank does certain things that make social engineering attacks really, really difficult, if not outright impossible. So it tells me that it's possible to secure your shit on the customer service end. If you're still getting compromises at the level of which we're seeing, obviously you need to do something, man. You need to enhance your incentive structure, enhance your penalty structure, whatever. But you got to be doing something to get those people on your side of the phone to be putting a higher priority on successfully completing a customer service call, and not on filling them in full of information that they really shouldn't have. Yeah. And it is with that, we are drawing to a close. We will be back again on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's very important to keep it in mind. But yeah, as far as these attacks and whatnot goes, we're going to continue to see them until we've rectified the issue of our incentive structures in cryptocurrencies. We're going to continue to see cryptojacking attacks. We're going to see people continuing to try and abuse other people's hardware and monetize it to their own benefit if they can't monetize their own hardware to their own benefit. It's just a fact. Anyway, as far as where we're going to go with our last dance, I'm not entirely sure. Got a ton of music. I've even got some new music on the way. Got a little bit of red fang, a little periphery, a little more textures, some additional stuff. But as far as our last dance is concerned, I'm going to have to pick something kind of long because we got a few minutes left. And so, I think... Where the hell are they? Machine Head. There's a time to break out some Machine Head, and I think this is it. Let's see here. Yeah, it's about the right time. So we're going to play Halo from Machine Head, Last Dance, here on Coin Metal. And so until Wednesday, I want y'all to trade safe. Do your homework. And watch out for your own bunghole, because nobody else is going to do it for you. Thank you again for listening, and y'all have an excellent evening. Good night.